How long did it take to build this house?
It took around a half year. So we started it when Corona was getting active. So that's why we could fully build on, because our jobs were less. We could stay at home more, and that's the reason we could work all day and all week just to build a house. So
A lot of way more time to work on the house. So that was nice.
And do you know how much did you invest in materials?
in materials, it was a funny story because the wood is all used from the house that was broken down to the house next to my parents. So there came on like all the big wooden.
The structure of the house.
Yeah.
The
Beams.
beams,
Yeah. So we
So
used.
it collapsed, or?
No, they were breaking it down,
Okay.
and the one who was breaking it down did per ongeluk.
Yeah, like it was
He mistaken one of the walls of the house of my parents' house, so he broken down the wrong wall.
Oh no.
And my father was like, "Okay, that's not nice, but okay, if you give us all of the wood from the house you are breaking down, it's okay. We will fix it, or it will be fine."
Okay.
So-
That's nice of him.
So he lifted all of the wood over the wall, and that's why we could make the whole structure of the house.
So all skeleton of the house is from recycled materials.
And all very thick materials, so it's way thicker than it has to be, but we had it, and
Do you know how thick? Like 30 to 30, or?
it was like
Okay. So a proper house thing.
25 to 12, I think.
very heavy, so it's
25 centimeters to 12.
and
From
I
50 to 120.
and that house was like 50, 60 years old, so all of the wood was really dry, and it didn't. Yeah,
So that was the first step of building the house, was to take all the spikes.
all the old nails
All
out
the nails,
by
yeah.
hand. Yeah, that took us, I believe, a week just to clean all of the wood, because we have to saw it in the right shapes and measurements. And my dad was so very proud of his saw. He was like, you're not gonna saw it with rusty nails. You have to clean it, and then we are gonna use the saw. So it had to be cleaned very well.
So basically you invested just in interior and cladding.
Yeah, and all the
Isolation.
panel wood that we had to buy. We will show you our lovely garden. We put a lot, especially Jan, put a lot of effort into the garden, because when we came here it was like all plain, empty, a little bit of sand, a little bit of grass.
So it's all second-hand plants. Everything was Marktplaats. It's like a
A marketplace.
marketplace, and then everything comes from people who want the plant away, and I just get it for a few of just a bit of muscle and not that much money.
Mostly it's free, so we pick it up with our van and we bring it here. And
So you basically get them free because you collect them and they don't.
yeah,
Yeah, if you pay like 10 or 20 euros.
but also
So-
the bigger plants are, to make it a little bit more private, we use this little more bigger plants. So each one, normally we plant like flowers, but this year it's a little bit, the
It
flowers.
was very dry in June,
was
so
very dry,
it
so-
didn't grow a lot, but the other ones are going well. A bit of flowers, and it's getting greener and greener every year, and we really enjoy to be outside. That's also nice for, I think, for every tiny house people to, when it's getting spring or summer, that you just open these big windows or big doors and you can live a bit outside. It's really feels a lot of freedom, and also to have our own garden in the Netherlands is kind of special, I think. So
And to have our own lounge set, so we made it out of pallet wood, We made the small table and a
I love
chair.
pallet wood. I really like if I found pallet wood and I want to make something out of it, and then make a table, make a bank, and then over there we make some for the compost. For the composting we put some pellets together and then some fruits and vegetables thing also out pallets and yeah.
And here you have some chill zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the chill area, our nest.
Privacy.
Yeah. So there we put a hammock and sometimes put the cushion on the ground and then we can
And
just
we-
chill under the...
And we built the panel out of twigs, like a special tree who makes like longer twigs. We can weave them between the poles we made. So this corner was really open and everybody was walking by and you couldn't really sit outside nicely. So because of this you can just have a little bit more privacy and enjoy the garden.
and
And I believe the whole house costed around 30,000 euros on materials. And because we did everything ourselves, that was the price we paid.
And how did you decide to build tiny house? Because someone broke the wall, or
No,
that,
it
that
was
the push.
no, it was. I was interested in tiny houses for a while and was searching with a group of people to find a place, and there was nothing, and everywhere we were rejected. So the idea was there, but the plans are not starting. And then I get an email from this place, like, you got one of the spots where you could live, so if you want it, you can have it. And they wanted us to be there in a half year, like from now on, in a half year time, you have to move your house. But I didn't have a house, so we were like, okay, that's gonna be fine. And then I called my dad, like, can we build a house in a half year? And he was like, yeah,
let's do this.
let's do this.
So, and this place where you live now is from government provided land.
Yeah.
And you were like on the list, and that's why they reach you out, not
Yeah.
just like someone called
No,
you
they
out
were.
of blue.
You could fill in a list, and they pick out just 6 other people, and we were the lucky ones. Yeah.
Yeah. And why you decided not to build on wheels if the idea was to move it?
The idea was that we could stay here for 5 years, and maybe they will
Prolong it?
prolong it with another 5 years. So we were like, okay, it doesn't have to be on wheels, and it can be a little bit higher if we build it like on a frame, on a metal frame. So that's why we didn't choose for wheels, just to get a little bit higher and have more living space.
Yeah, and you have very high ceilings.
Mhm.
And how much is the height and the width interior?
I believe the height is 4 meters, and
The
then
highest point.
and the highest point, yeah, because of the angle, 5 degrees angle. So the lowest point is around 3.5 meters, and then the length is 8,
850, I think.
around 8, and the wideness is 3 meters. Yeah,
250,
Very spacious.
250 inside.
250 inside. Yeah.
And is there something you would have done differently if you will be building again?
I would invest in better windows. So now we found like a maker who makes windows out of old windows. So he reuses it, but he did it for so cheap that the details were like wrong, and the windows were leaking. And if there's one thing a window should do is keep the water out, but all the water was coming in, especially from this window, because of the glass was not set right. And yeah, we should just hire somebody who would do it very nice.
Thicker glass, also a good idea for tiny house to better insulation.
Yeah.
So that's
And what is like the thing you would never change about the build?
The thing I would never change, the outside, the material, definitely, and the layout, I think. I started designing the house on SketchUp. and I tried like 30 different layouts, and each time I'd come back to this one. I was like, this is, I think, for us the most practical way of filling in the house. So the layout I wouldn't change, and maybe I would change some of the closets. Like this one, we built it ourselves, and it's not perfect. It does work, but yeah, maybe if the money budget was a little bit bigger, we let it made by a real furniture maker. That
Carpenter.
We got also this one we made last year, I think. Also some recuperation wood, and to put the bikes in it, bikes and a lot of wood and a lot of stuff.
extra storage.
It's like a shed.
Yeah. We needed it because we were building a lot of things, and we needed the wood to be dry, and the
Yeah.
wood was getting piled up in the house, and it was
Oh,
one mess.
Well, yeah, there was like always stuff and wood in the house. So we said, okay, we have to find something to a little bit of more place. And this year there is nothing in it, just a bit of herbs. No, it's like this citron melisse. I don't know the name of it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then another water tank to get some rainwater, and actually we just use it to give to the plants.
About the heating source, I don't see anywhere.
Yeah, no,
It's nowhere. You can see it. Yeah.
it's hidden. We have like the floor heating. It's like the electric, a plastic-like material, a foil, and you can just place it underneath your floor, and it's very easily heated up. And also the package was very easily. You can just cut the sheets in the right shape and lay it underneath.
Yeah, you
your
get
floor.
those plastic rolls and just roll them in the weight of the house, and then you just put your floor on it.
And connect it very easily. The system was very easy. So even for us, for not very experienced floor makers.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's connected to an app. We get the display on the wall, but we can also manage it on the app and say, okay, go on 7 a.m. and then 20 minutes later you're coming down, you're waking up and making breakfast with warm food. So that's kind of nice in the winter.
Or if you're gonna go away for a weekend and you come back, and then an hour before you will already put on your heating. So if you come home, it's gonna be nice and warm.
And did you have any previous building experience when you started to build this?
No,
Nope.
we didn't. My father did. He built his own house before, and his hobbies were like all of the woodworking, but also electrical and welding and
Plumbing.
yeah, he has the full package of experience. So that's the only reason we could build the house, because we have him and he could help us. So he's the base of the building. He could, without him we couldn't do it.
So he was the team leader.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We were the slaves. We did all the easy jobs.
Architecture and slaves.
Yeah.
We learn a lot.
Yeah.
Learn a lot.
And after the house, we were teaching, we were learning how to be handy and how to saw and how to use all the materials. So when the house was finished, we are gonna easily start a new project now. I think we could build it now on our own. It was a good learning experience.
And was it difficult to move it, to find a company? And
Finding a company, not, because it was like one phone call away, and they said like, okay, we will measure it out. We had to do a very long distance because we built it in Limburg. It's like the bottom of the Netherlands, and then we had to drive the house 2 hours to this place.
how many kilometers is that?
200.
200, yeah. And they did a little bit longer because of the height of the house. They had to take a different route.
Yeah,
Because
it's higher than 4 meters.
And some of the bridges were too low, so and even to came to this place, they had to take a very difficult turn on the end of the park, and I think they pulled out one of the poles in the street.
This one you have to cut out.
Yeah. We placed it back, so it's nothing happened. And to pick it up was also easy. It was just the company said that they could tilt like 2 times the weight of the house, so there was nothing to worry about. Only that the house was a little bit crookedly lifted.
Yeah.
It was not. It didn't look very good, but everything went well.
Yeah, good.
But we did a test before we welded like tilting points where the hooks can be placed, and they did a test to see if it worked, because it was like an invention of my dad, and he was like, this is gonna be working well. So they did a test, I believe, on one side of the house, like for ½ meter, and with that test the screws broke.
The bolt.
The bolts broke
Of the house.
of the connection parts.
Oh, okay.
So the house fell like a ½ meter,
No.
and yeah, then they were like, okay, we have to use another type of bolt, and it will
heavy
be
duty one.
and it will be fine. So the moment it went up the house, we were all thinking, I hope these bolts will hold. Yeah, but it did. So it was a good thing we tried it before. Otherwise, it would have fallen for like 4 meters down, and I don't think we would have a house then.
And then you can see there is the opening of the cat. So that's where he come from. So we can.
He can get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
that wardrobe.
Yeah.
Out.
Yes, because he's on entrance tunnel.
What about
Yeah.
other cats? It doesn't come to visit.
No, not yet.
No, it's really territorial. So.
Yeah.
And recycle bins.
Yeah,
Yeah, way too big for a tiny house.
but in the Netherlands we recycle everything. So first one is paper, next one is plastic, third one is rest, all the other garbage, and we have a green one for all the.
Actually, we don't use the green one because
Yeah.
we've got the compost.
Yeah, it's bio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but don't use it a lot.
So that's it.
And in total you have here 5 tiny houses.
6 actually.
6.
tiny houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you all have to move out by when?
To the date, the official data is
June.
July 24
So next summer.
next summer. But yeah, we hope, and there is I think a big chance that we can stay a bit longer.
Mm.
Then we have to see for next place.
So if someone knows or have some place in Netherlands,
Give us a
please.
call.
Yeah, it would be nice.
And it's nice because we have a lot of different neighbors, like a different set of houses. We have a older person, so I believe around 80 years old, around. And we have a single man living in the middle, a family with a child, a younger child, and next to us also a younger woman, and next to that a younger man. So it's a very different kind of people in one place.
with different occupation.
Yeah, yeah.
And so basically this was experimental from the government.
Yeah.
And they no longer want to prolong it, or
Now they're gonna use this area to build a bigger flat for more people to live in. So
yeah.
we're hoping that they're gonna move us to another place, and hopefully for a longer period. But we don't know
So the
yet.
idea basically is to use temporary pieces of land
Yeah.
that in the future plan to be built something, but at the moment they're staying.
The in-between moments,
Yeah.
they will.
It's like this place was not used, and then the government says, okay, there's nothing happening with it, so it's kind of for them it's good because there is a bit of money coming in because houses who are coming on the place give a bit of money for it, and then And then it's good for people who are looking for a place. So it's give. But everybody would like to have an own place of
Yeah.
a place for a long time. But
In the future, we will have our own piece of land where we can put our home.
Thanks for showing around.
Yes, you're welcome.
nice.